What's poppin' YouTube? Welcome to my channel, Astro Finesse. It's your boy Lil Finesse Jiggy Hippie, back with another video for y'all. And this video right here is if your Saturn is in the sign of Taurus, or if you have Saturn in the second house, you also resonate with this video. And I'll pause for the cause. If you don't know how to find your Saturn placement, if you're a new subscriber, if you're just starting off your journey of self-love, self-knowledge, self-understanding, if you do not, to this point, understand why it's so important to learn about yourself and to study yourself through astrology or numerology, don't worry, I got you. There's a couple of videos. I'll put the link in the description. You have to watch them first to become hip to the knowledge of what I'm about to talk about right now. So if you look at your birth chart or your natal chart, it's the same thing. And you realize that your Saturn is in the sign of Taurus, this video is for you. So without further ado, let's just get it poppin', shall we? Now you already know, before I start, I'm gonna give y'all a list of some celebrities so y'all can visually see what Saturn and Taurus people look like and act like in reality. So to start, we got Jennifer Lopez, Jay-Z, your boy Tupac, rest in peace, Naomi Campbell, Erykah Badu, Selena, Jaden Smith, Timbaland, Taraji P. Henson, Nia Long, and Method Man. Alright, so boom, Saturn in Taurus and also Saturn in the second house. First of all, what does Saturn mean in astrology? What does it represent for your chart? Now the planet Saturn represents structure, represents organization, represents discipline. This is the big key word, is discipline. So Saturn in your chart forces you to learn and work hard through putting obstacles in your way, putting tribulations in your way. It's like forces you to go over these obstacles, forces you to go over these difficulties so you can learn your lesson and become wise in whatever area Saturn is in. And at the end, after you have matured, after Saturn has returned, after you have been through all the difficulties, all the tribulations, after you have learned your lessons, Saturn comes back and gives you back the reward and gives you what you've been restricted from. So Saturn in your chart restricts you from wherever the house it's in, whatever energy it's in. It will restrict that energy, will restrict that house until you have gained wisdom, until you have matured, until you have learned a lesson. And then after the Saturn return comes around, if you have been working on it, if you have been paying your dues, I'll say, Saturn will come back and give you the reward and actually give you what you've been restricted from. So having a Saturn in the sign of Taurus, Saturn in the second house, when it comes to this energy, you will feel like whenever you're making money, whenever you have money, because Taurus represents like material possessions, also represents things that are valuable, because Taurus is all about things that have the best value, the best food, the best clothes, like valuable things. So your value, also a value of self too. So having this placement, you will be restricted from the energy of things when it comes to material possessions, especially money, or your value of self. So you could be the type that you probably grew up seeing your parents or your grandparents or people that took care of you not really have money like that, or always fighting for stability. And you grew up having like a innate need to like, damn, I really need to make sure I got money. I really need to make sure I'm stable in life. So that could be like your full focus is to make sure you have money, make sure you're stable. Now what Saturn does in this placement, Saturn comes in and says, all right, so I'm going to restrict this energy. I'm going to restrict your sense of stability. I'm going to restrict your sense of value within yourself. So what you might feel is that even if you're working hard all week, working all these hours, you might feel like you never have enough money still. Money can be something that really comes into your life, but it could be really hard for you to save money. It could be hard for you to like keep it and to like invest it or to grow wealth within your money before your Saturn return. So this money will be a focal point in your life. Stability will be something you're always reaching for, always trying to get. And you will find that it's kind of hard for you to reach that and attain that. That's Saturn trying to teach you what true value is. Saturn is trying to teach you what true value is, trying to teach you to be patient, trying to teach you to invest in your assets, to really actually save money. A lot of times with this placement, you could be the type to have money but then spend it quickly, or you could be too stingy with your money. Also, it goes both sides. You could be too stingy with your money and not want to share it all, not want to do nothing with it. You just want to keep it to yourself and be too extra stingy with it. It could go both ways. But Saturn wants to teach you the value of saving, the value of money, and the value of what you have within yourself. So you have to have a true sense of value within yourself. You have to have a true sense of knowing what to do when it comes to your assets, because the second house is your own personal assets, your own personal earned income, your own personal earned money. So you could work as hard as you want, but if you're not saving it, you're not going to be working through those difficulties, through the obstacles. Now the plus side of Saturn is a lot of people look at Saturn as like a bad planet. It's called a malefic planet. I personally look at Saturn like, it's forcing you to learn something. You have to learn through discipline. Anything when it comes to discipline, if you're disciplined in life, no matter what, you're going to reap the rewards in the end. So it takes a lot of patience, a lot of time. Saturn likes being in earth signs because earth signs are very slow and patient anyway. So Saturn is comfortable in Taurus. Saturn is definitely going to make you very organized and very practical when it comes to your assets, when it comes to money and how you spend it and how you save it. Saturn's going to make you going to force you to really understand the importance of what material possessions are. It's going to force you to not be the type of person that always wants to spend on things just because it looks nice, or just be so thrifty with your money. It's going to force you to really have the importance of what money is and the value system in your life too. But what happens with displacement, and when it comes to Saturn returns, for those who don't know, Saturn comes back around to where it started. It takes around 28 years. So like you will feel a Saturn return most definitely by the age of 30 to 31, 32. You will feel your whole life shift. You'll feel your whole mindset of what you thought you needed, what you thought was most important to you. You'll feel like a life shift, like your midlife crisis or whatever. You'll feel like a life shift, and you'll be like, Saturn, that's when Saturn is called a Saturn return. And if you have been working on these things, if you have been working on knowing how to save, if you've been working on understanding the importance of having value within yourself, not putting so much value on money or so much value on material things, but actually having value in things that matter, if you actually have been working on these things, Saturn would then bless you after it has been covering and restricting you for all this time, after it has been taking away your sense of stability in a way, after it has been doing that, because it's like Saturn's like watching you the whole time, like, all right, so this person, all they think about is having stability, all they think about is having a lot of money, material possessions, all they think about is the value within having these kind of things. So I'm gonna restrict it from them. I'm gonna watch them. I'm gonna see if they're learning their lesson. I'm gonna see if they're working hard on this. I'm gonna see if they're paying attention to actually know what true value is. And when Saturn's watching you and you have been working on this, when Saturn comes back around, it's like, all right, so you've been working hard, so now I'm about to take my restrictions off. And then with this placement, a lot of times, people that have Saturn in Taurus, Saturn in the second house, later on in life, and I know a lot of y'all don't want to hear it, it's like, damn, like I don't want to wait so long, but later on in life, most definitely by the age of 40, like later on in life is when you will actually truly see that, damn, I've been so stressed out about this my whole life. I've been wanting money my whole life. I wanted stability my whole life. I've been always worried about it tremendously. Like I don't have enough. But you will see as Saturn comes back around, and you see later on in life, you will actually gain all this stability. You actually gain all this money. You actually gain all these things that you've been fearful of before the Saturn came around. So if you've been working on this, knowing what true value is, if you've been working on this, knowing how to save your money, if you have been working on this, not being too stingy, and actually knowing how to, knowing how to have true value within things that are not always monetary based or not always material possession based. If you have been working on these things, Saturn will lift its restrictions from you, and it will give you back all the things you've been fearful of. So having this placement, most definitely you will be most likely having to be very stable within the later part of your life. You will have a tremendous amount of stability through material possessions, through money. You have a better sense of value within yourself. It's all about knowing that you're going to have to struggle. You're going to have to go through obstacles. You're going to have to learn the hard way. You're going to have to discipline yourself in the beginning of life. Know that why these things are happening to you. Know that why every time I work, I feel like I can't save. Every time I'm trying to do something, I feel like I'm being restricted. Everybody around me has like all this money, all this nice things, and I can't get it for some reason. Know this, that, all right, so this is my lesson I got to learn right now, okay? So once you're working on this and you know the true value of saving, the true value of what money does for you, the true value of stability, once you learn about these things and you see within yourself, Saturn watches you. It's like, all right, boom, they learned their lesson. And then in the end, you will be the one that has all his possessions. You will be the one that has all this material wealth. You will be the one that has your savings account will grow tremendously. With this placement in beginning, your savings account might not be like that. It's like this is the gradual process of growing your savings account, not the checking, the savings when it comes to wealth, when it comes to building your assets, things that you could have for the long run, things that you could build on for the future. So the savings account in this placement in later part of life, later on in life will grow, and that's where you will be like, damn, so I've been fearful all this time, but now I actually have what I need. Now I'm stable, now I'm good, now I'm very practical, and now I know the true value of not having what I want all the time, not having what I need all the time. I know the true value of knowing how to be thrifty, knowing how to save, knowing how to know the true value of what monetary things bring me, what stability brings me, knowing the true value of myself as well. It's all about value and knowing the trueness of what it truly means for you as a person. So understand, if you're going through these kind of things right now before your Saturn return, understand why you're going through it, understand what it's trying to teach you, understand that you have to put in the work, you're going to have to grind, you're going to have to understand the value of what money does and monetary possessions, the value of yourself. And once you have conquered this, once you have mastered working on these things, when Saturn return comes around, then you will be blessed with everything you've been fearful of. So you have to be patient. Everywhere Saturn goes in your chart, it just slows it down tremendously. My last video, Saturn Aries wants to go fast, it just slows them down tremendously. Tauruses are already more on the slower part, so it's not really drastic, but it definitely slows down your sense of trying to gain stability, trying to gain that sense of stability, that monetary possession, it's trying to gain that your assets. It's going to slow that down. So understand that it's going to take you a little harder for you to work to gain assets. But once Saturn comes back around and you have been working on your discipline and you have been grinding, you will be blessed with your assets being tremendously big, your savings account growing, your everything, your stability will definitely be there for you when Saturn comes back around. Around the age 30 is when you're gonna feel it, but it takes like 28 years for the planet Saturn to come back where it started. So that's my video on Saturn and Taurus. I hope y'all enjoyed that. My next video is gonna be on Saturn and Gemini. You already know I'm about to go in. If you have subscribed to my channel, appreciate all y'all for real. You already know. If you haven't subscribed yet though, go ahead and handle that one time for your boy. Don't forget to drink your water, mind your business, and be safe out here. It's your boy Lil Finesse Jiggy Hippie. I'ma see all y'all when I see y'all.